Test one, test one. Test one, test one. All right, good evening, everybody. We're starting a little bit early because we have rain in the valley. It has come. A lot of people were thinking it was going to come yesterday. Well, it has come one day late. Let's break it right to you. We got some great images already in. Take a look at this. This is at the Loop 101 and Princess in Scottsdale. Big rain coming through right now. And then we're also going to see, I want to show you my our tower cam. Take a look at this. Wow, what a sky. Just if you remember ago, about 4 o'clock when I showed you guys this, it was normal skies, just a couple of clouds in there, but it is really got dark with lots of rain. Let's go back to that other shot that we had for you. Are you guys seeing rain in your area? Let us know. We are hearing reports of a lot of rain in the area. We're trying to get everything confirmed for you before we just start spraying out messages. So stay with us on this coverage of rain in the valley. This is at the Loop 101 in Princess. You're seeing an A.dot cam at. So everyone was like, we're late, but it's saying, you know what? I'm going to come. You guys all wanted me. Here it is. Just hopefully everyone gets home safe. As we continue to monitor the storm activity in the valley. Monsoon 2015, not over yet. Take a look at our live radar right now, and you can see it just looks like as it's coming in here, Phoenix Mesa really looks like it's getting the brunt of it right now. Take a look at our live Doppler. Again, this is the 60 westbound Superstition. Thank you all for joining this Fox 10 News Now coverage of Monsoon 2015. We will continue to be on the lookout for other shots that become available. When they do, of course, we will take those. Let us know if it's raining in your area. Feel free to chat right in there in the Say Something box. We always appreciate we have one of the best engagement on these chats, so we really appreciate everyone coming in and chiming in when they have info to say. So let us know, is it raining in your area? We just at the studio here in downtown Phoenix really was coming down for about a good 10 minutes. Really good rainstorm. 10 minutes. Rachie says no rain in the West Valley. We're going to stay on this shot, and then I'm going to look, see if I can vision. Take a look at that. Also want to bring you back out to our tower cam. Very dark skies as we see the lightning in the distance there. Virgil just says Higley and University getting pounded. Be safe, everybody. Take it back out to the 60 westbound Superstition. We're going to be continuing, and it'll be just looking for the best images for you, so that we could really tell this the story here for Monsoon 2015 coverage. Thank you all for joining the stream this evening. I will be with you until about 9 o'clock, unless we have extreme breaking news, which, well, you never know. That's why you always got to be watching this live stream. Okay, now 8 is changing that position now. We're getting a little different shot of it, and you could really see that rain just pick up on the freeway there. Not a good sign. Glenda says no rain here in northern Arizona. That is good. That is good. We're coming near the end of it, of Monsoon, but that doesn't mean, just like Dave Muncie said yesterday on our stream, doesn't matter if it's just the end of it. It could really monsoon any time. So what you gotta really, really love about Arizona sometimes, right? I mean, just never know about that weather. The lightning is really picking up now. They get a lot of rain on the roadways. We ask everyone to, wow, you could, okay, now you're seeing the cars really slow down here as that rain is just being picked up on the freeway there. You could see, look at the trail as each car goes by. You can see that trail of rain there though. Wow. We are going to continue to stay on this weather coverage, Monsoon 2015. My name is Mike Pache. Thank you for joining the Fox News Now live stream. We are in breaking news weather coverage here. We appreciate everybody always watching. Thank you to the new viewers right now. We hope that you will join us for other live stream events. We have a full packed show today, too. Okay, want to give you that live look right here of our radar. You can see Mesa just being pummeled right now. Okay, everybody, now we have Skyfox up. I will take that right now. Let me lower that really annoying. There we go. Okay. Got that. This is Skyfox. We will get a position for you as it just launched. Please hold. All right, just been told that the Skyfox has just launched. It's in the West Valley. We don't know a exact location for you, but it is traveling to look for weather. Thank you all so much for joining us here on Monsoon Coverage 2015. We appreciate everybody watching. As we know, a lot of people are always interested when it does rain, and it's funny that it was we were really depending on it yesterday. It didn't come really. I mean, it did in some areas, but now it's coming down. This is the West Valley looking east as that dark sky, as you can see that lightning just pop up in the Mesa and Gilbert area. So we will continue to follow this Monsoon Coverage 2015. Thank you all for joining us today. We are getting word that once it does become safe for the helicopter, our very own Skyfox will try to make it to the East Valley, but it wants to obviously stay a distance. As you can see, that storm with the lightning, it's really active right now. So we appreciate everybody that is watching this live stream. As you can see, the valley, dark skies on this Tuesday evening in the valley. Look at that. That's a shot of West Valley. Look at that. Beautiful clouds there. Wow. It's gonna make its way more. Snap some pictures out there in the West Valley. You guys are getting a sunset. Back looking east. What a difference, huh? What a complete difference. All right, looks like I'm going to get some info here for you. Just hold tight as Sky Fox is getting some activity here. Okay, we are now looking in Scottsdale, 84th Street and Sutton. Major flooding happening right now. Look at that. Wow. This is in Scottsdale, 84th Street and Sutton. Large amounts of water on the roadways here. It was originally called a water rescue, but was recalled because the car was out of the wash at the time when emergency services arrived. But you can see why they needed help in the beginning. That is a large amounts of water on that roadway there. So it was police were there for a rescue, water rescue, but the car was out of the wash by the time personnel did come. Continue to stay with us, everybody. We are providing you with live aerials thanks to Sky Fox. This is in Scottsdale, 84th Street and Sutton. Roadways are flooding there. Be careful. Okay, we're going to switch to that. We're going to keep this active, but I wanted to show you the lightning on this ADOT camera. Let me bring that up for you. Okay. This is on the 60, but westbound on Crimson. Look at the lightning here. Large, wow, lightning show we got going for you on the East Valley. East Valley is just getting pounded right now. Ooh, did you see that? Wow. We're going to stay on this shot for a little bit, then bounce back to Sky Fox in Scottsdale, East Valley. Getting pounded. If you are just joining us, welcome to the Fox 10 News Now live stream monsoon coverage. My name is Mike Pache. Weather has really taken over for the stories that we're going to be showing you today. We appreciate everybody watching. Thank you all for commenting in the section. If you want to say hi, just say hi in the chat, and don't forget to also like this stream, as well as subscribe to us on Fox 10 Phoenix so you could always be aware of when we are showcasing streams and different live events from the Valley and the nation and all around. So we appreciate everybody being a part of this stream today. Thank you. As you can see, yeah, when that lightning hits, you could just really see the amount of water on the roadway. We're going to go back now to Sky Fox. Sky Fox now over in Scottsdale, near 84th Street and Sutton. Valley roadways are getting flooded up here in Scottsdale, North Scottsdale. Gonna go back now to that lightning show. Sky Fox is really getting some good. Ooh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Sky Fox now over. Still in Scottsdale, but look at this amount of water. Stay with us. We have crews going around the valley now, heading East Valley, of course, where all the action is. It's going to be a good idea now, folks, to be watching Fox News at 9 and 10 tonight. We're going to have complete coverage as I take you guys right into that newscast. We are looking at 84th Street and Sudden in Scottsdale, thanks to Fox, Sky Fox. Want to thank everybody for watching this stream of Monsoon coverage 2015. Not done yet. Earlier today, about 30 to 45 minutes ago in downtown Phoenix, this was the scene. As rain really came down in the downtown section of our great city. We'll now bounce over This is back on the US 60 as this lightning continues.
Bill says that he got a bunch of flooding video on his way to this, and he's just arriving here.
Our crew is getting some amazing pictures, we are being told. So once that gets into the system, of course, we will be bringing you the very, very latest videos. This is all live shots that we are showing you. We'll hit back to Sky Fox as it is now moving to a different location. We will continue to follow its journey. Thank you all for joining us this evening. My name is Mike Pache. We are at 7 o'clock. Give you some news. Headlines, of course, the Pope landed in the U.S. this afternoon. He was greeted by the President, First Lady, and his children, as well as the Vice President and their children. So a lot of news happening, and we are in the middle of just monsoon coverage. Thank you all for being a part of it. As we continue to look, Sky Fox just capturing, I think, more flooded roadways. Let's look. Let's look what Sky Fox is doing. When they get a more established shot set up, we will go back to them. In the meantime, I want to take you back out to US 60 westbound, as this lightning show is just unreal. Let's hit it. You're like, oh, it just looks like a normal shot. And then every once in a while, that lightning just pops it. There it is. There it is. And we're just 2 hours away from our Fox 10 News at 9. They are going to have complete team coverage of this rain that hit the valley. So you know you're going to want to just join us then, but we appreciate everybody watching now, because everybody that's in the Fox News Now arena always gets the news first. So you guys are always the bunch that always gets that news first, and and that's an awesome group to be in. So congratulations on being on that Fox News Now group, and all the new people that have joined us this evening. Welcome. My name is Mike Pache. Kinsey will be back tomorrow. I'll be back. Samia will be in at 6 a.m. to provide live Pope coverage. So Fox News Now is definitely the spot to be. Definitely what you want to be a part of, as well, as we continue to bring you these live images of just Monsoon coverage 2015. It's not over yet. Right now, I can tell you that our reporting team and photography team is hitting the East Valley to showcase this massive storm that has really just came up so fast against us. I just told Dave when he gets done with his dinner to come join me and kind of give us his analysis of this storm and what we can expect from for the rest of the night. So Dave Muncie will be joining us in a little bit here to give us the best weather analysis. He's going to give us his 40 years of expertise in this market. Just an amazing guy. Dave Muncie is going to be joining us very soon. Just look at that lightning. That is the story of this ADOT camera, isn't it? Just giving us tons and tons of lightning action. Wow. Amazing images right here.
Hey guys, can I get an update on your location, please?
Sky Fox is traveling right now. We're getting an update on their location as we speak. Hold on right now as Sky Fox is actually trying to track the latest in the storm. Looks like the image got a little blurry there, went out. That's okay. We got another image to back it up. Don't you worry. Our photographer just brought in some amazing rainbow coverage over downtown earlier this evening. I'm going to show that to you once we get that video exported for you. So hang on there. Woo, you saw that lightning strike pop it. That was a down lightning strike too. Now it's getting a little even more scarier. Oh, that Sky Fox signal once again just having issues with the storm here. Don't worry, we'll pop back out to this as we show the lightning. Thank you all for joining us. Dave Muncie will be here very shortly, giving us what we all can expect later on this evening in the overnight hours, and then for your Wednesday morning commute. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Coming up on 7:15, we are in a live monsoon coverage. A little bit later, if this storm eventually goes away, I have a great soundbite from Mo Money Pawn Shop, one of the owners, talking to us today about the situation of the alleged freeway shooter allegedly brought in the gun that was used in the freeway shootings. We will talk to him all about their procedures on how they take in items and how they deal with police investigations. That is coming up. Told you guys earlier, we had a packed show, and like I said, when breaking news happens like this, it always seems to happen when you got so much coverage, you know. On the days that you don't. Oh, look at that. There's Samia. Samia is my good old buddy here. All right, we're going to go down to Sky Fox. Looks like they got their stream back up. And this is in Scottsdale. We don't have an exact location right now, as our team is very busy all around the valley right now. I'm just trying to get the best coverage for you. And once 9 o'clock hits, everybody, you know where to turn. Fox News at 9. The only place to get the most comprehensive storm coverage in the valley coming to you. I want to take you then back out to the 60 westbound here near in Mesa, where it just seems to be a absolutely insane lightning show we've seen. Just insane. Take it back out to Fox, Sky Fox, where there is some flooded roadways here, and people are going through them, which we never recommend, because you really, when you go through it, you don't know how deep that water is. It might not look deep, but when you get in it, you might not be able to get out. And I know all our Fox News Now viewers know that. Look at that. Ooh. Just never know. Pretty soon, once Dave Muncie, he's just getting the very latest radar for us, so he has the most accurate information when he comes on to Fox News Now. He's going to be providing the best analysis of the storm. And we got a full slate of streaming for you. Samia with a 6:15 tomorrow a.m. live stream of everything Pope coverage. Kinsey will be back in tomorrow. I'll be back in. We're going to have weekend coverage of the Pope. Look at this. Now it's really getting flooded here. Look at that trail. Oh, man. These cars should not be doing this, especially on that outer lane there, where you could see that water just creeping up. Here comes Dave Muncie. We are ready. Hello, Dave.
Hello.
All right. So this really crept up on us.
Well, a lot of these storms, of course, now we've been predicting this kind of stuff for the last 3 days, and we had a lot of moisture in the air.
Yep.
And the forecast was for that heavy rain to run from a period of late Sunday into late Tuesday. So it's a little late in getting here, but certainly fulfilling the need for moisture downtown.
Yeah, this was taken earlier this evening, and wow.
Yeah, it was really coming down. We have some radar. If you can get a radar up, we can kind of give everybody a look at what is actually going on with the radar right now. So we'll take a little spin around with that as we head down. I wanted to show some stuff up north of us here that's headed in this direction. It's falling apart a little bit, but you can see that it's at Yarnell, Prescott, Wickenburg, coming down through that corridor there. And also take a look at Phoenix, about halfway through it now. Pretty big system that did run through here. Wanted to give you a look at Sky Harbor. They're rolling again, but they did have a gate stoppage, which means they just stopped the planes at the gate and didn't let them go out onto the tarmac.
Okay.
They didn't close the airport, and everything seems to be running out there again. And then this is a shot right here of the whole storm in the valley. There's more active weather to the north of us, and there's a little system down here by Eloy as well, and Casa Grande, that is affecting them right now. But when we get a look at the whole thing, you see that little bitty batch of moisture up north that could have an effect on us, could have another effect on us. It is headed in this direction, but it's falling apart a little bit as it heads in this direction. And then, of course, the stuff around Phoenix that's the stuff I was talking about earlier. And then you get down here, you can see in Phoenix. I'm going to back off one more time here and give you a look at that storm in the valley or around the valley, which is generating pretty good activity now. We have had up to an inch in some areas in downtown already.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a lot coming down. That rainfall video that we have shows really coming down hard here. I think that unless this new storm catches up with us, then the stuff for downtown is pretty well done with. But we could get another little shot before the night is out. That stuff in the central city, in Mesa, Fountain Hills, moving in that direction, that's going to be around for a little bit. So we have some pretty good storms out there.
Yeah, and you nailed it yesterday when you were speaking. Just because it didn't hit everywhere in the valley, that it could still pop up.
Yeah, well, the thing is we had a lot of moisture in the air. We had a tropical depression pumping moisture in here all last week, and there was just too much moisture for something not to happen. So, we were just kind of hanging with it. I actually thought that it was going to get going this morning and really take off.
Sure.
But it didn't, and here we are. We needed a little daytime heating to get this stuff going, and once we did, it really did take off. I don't know that anybody had to use their sandbags. Maybe a few people did, but this is still a pretty heavy rain, a good rain. We need this rain. We need all the moisture we can get.
Yeah, and you can look on the roadways here. This is the US 60 westbound. Look at the trail of...
oh, yeah. It's... even though it's not raining, it might be sprinkling a little bit out there. It left a lot of moisture behind on the roadway, and you can see on the other side where you can really see the cars coming. They're kicking up a lot of water there, and that's something to be careful of. You could start hydroplaning out there, and that can be kind of dangerous too. So you have to keep your speed down.
One viewer is asking, was the humidity high today?
Yes, it was. It was the humidity. I don't have the numbers, but the humidity was way up there. I'm trying to remember. I think 57% at one point, which is pretty good for Arizona, and probably higher during the rainstorm as it was coming down. So I haven't seen the humidity here for about an hour or so, but it was humid this morning. It was uncomfortable this morning, even though there was a little bit of chill in the air. So, this is not surprising to see this kind of rain with the amount of moisture that we had hanging around the state.
Wow. And what can we expect the rest of this evening into the morning hours?
Well, I think we're going to see it tapering off. We might see another storm develop, one or two storms. We still have a lot of moisture around, but we'll see this stuff start moving out by tomorrow morning. Probably partly cloudy, if anything, a little sprinkle, and probably not that. And then drying out and warming up as we head into the weekend and into next week. Should have some very nice Arizona weather without the monsoon. I think the monsoon is going to dry out a little bit and go away for a little bit. The monsoon season ends officially in 7 days now.
Yep.
But we'll see what happens here. We can have rain after the monsoon, but right now I think it's going to dry out a little bit and warm up and just be kind of nice. Right around 98, 100, which is beautiful at this time of year.
Sure,
absolutely
sure it
beautiful.
Is. Well, thank you so much for
You
providing your expertise. We really
Excellent.
appreciate it, Dave.
Glad to do it. Glad to see everybody again.
Yep. And we'll see you
Okay,
at 9.
All right.
Have a good night. All right. Thank you so much to Dave Muncie for stopping by and really just helping us pinpoint and let us know what's happening in and around the valley on this Monsoon 2015 coverage that we're providing you on Fox News Now. Thank you, everybody. My name is Mike Pache. I am with you until 9 p.m. We have a lot to tell you about today in the world of news, including, just this little detail that the Pope came to the United States today. Just a little bit of a deal, right? Oh, man, we got so much news for you this evening. It is really, really going to be tough to get everything in there, but we will do our best. We got everything from a Phoenix news conference with the police talking about their big grant that they just got and how they plan to use that grant, beefing up their personnel as far as more men and women on the streets. So we have that story, and of course we have the lead story. Well, we thought it was going to be the lead story at the time, but it turned out to be Monsoon coverage. But our second lead story of the day is the interview with Mo Money pawn shop owner, the shop that allegedly took in the gun that was used by the suspect of the freeway shooting. So we will get more into that. I'm projecting it. If nothing crazy happens out there anymore, we can get something going at around 8 p.m. for you. If not, we might even start a little bit sooner. That's why you got to always be in tune with the Fox 10 News live stream. Do want to show you now a rainbow that was taken by our photographer earlier today. Beautiful images here. Wow, this was downtown Phoenix, about 6 o'clock. Sometimes when it rains, you get that beautiful, beautiful rainbow. Awesome stuff. Don't you guys agree? Just trying to show you the very best of what we have here in the valley. Beautiful stuff. Now we go back out live to Monsoon coverage 2015. Thank you all for joining us today. Once we get more videos in, of course, we will showcase that to you. But I am going to be starting to get ready to showcase some more news. Rachie, that was one of our photographers taking that beautiful, beautiful view of the rainbow. Alright, hold on. Looks like we might be getting some other news in. Once we verify, I will be letting you know. Alright, we're now being told that Sky Fox is now heading on over to the TPC area in Scottsdale. Looks like there's some flooding there as well. So once we get those images, of course, we will bring that to you. But you can see in the distance, lightning still very active in the valley. And you can see that plane taking off right now from Sky Harbor. Thanks again to Dave Muncie for coming by and giving us some great insight into this storm that really came fast on us. We appreciate everybody watching today. Kinsey is back tomorrow evening. I'll be here Saturday and Sunday on some select times for our streaming live Pope coverage. So be on the lookout for that come Saturday and Sunday. Around 7:15 a.m. Saturday, we'll have a nice streaming service of the Pope. And then Sunday afternoon, around 4 p.m., we will have his departure from Philadelphia, which he will then be leaving to go back to the Vatican. Looks like Sky Fox is now zooming in on something right now. Let's see. Just wants to get its coordinates set up here. You're just zooming in on the intersection here. Thank you all for watching this live stream coverage of Monsoon Coverage 2015. My name is Mike Pache. It's great to be with you this evening. Looks like we have a police cruiser over there. Don't know if there's just water in the roadway. We will get you the very latest once we get everything situated. At about 7:40, we're going to switch over to some of the news that we wanted to cover today for you. So be on the lookout for that. 7:40 is our time when we're going to be switching on over to some news of the day, non-weather related. And of course, if more weather pops up, of course we will then just switch on over. It's that easy. Just heard from one of our photographers that is putting in more multimedia video of the storm in Scottsdale. Has some great ground footage. We just saw aerials before, but now we have ground footage of the storm that was in Scottsdale, along with some people that were affected. So we will be hearing from them shortly once we get that video turned around for you. Thank you all for joining us this evening, 7:31. On this beautiful Tuesday evening that turned out to be very wet in some parts of the valley, especially if you're on the East Valley side. So we continue to monitor these monsoon coverage live aerials from Sky Fox. We're getting some great images in right now as I'm seeing this. You guys are going to be seeing it in about 5 to 6 minutes here as we just wait for this to be exported. So stay with us on this amazing coverage that is happening today, and be sure to check out Fox News at 9 for the very latest. We have crews everywhere today. They're scattered throughout the East Valley to provide you the best coverage. Thank you all for watching Fox News Now.
Bill, don't go in this house. You're gonna get molested. Dude, I gotta call him after I come closer.
All right, I just exported that video, so it will be showcased to you in about 5 minutes. Thank you all for staying put and being part of this live stream. Special thanks to Dave Muncie too for coming on and giving us his beautiful, beautiful expertise on the Valley storm that we have right here. This ADOT camera really provided some amazing lightning shots about, for a good 25 to 30 minutes. Still does, guys. So once that video is exported, I will be showcasing you a man from North Scottsdale near the airport there who already has flooding damage at his home. So he's going to give us a little tour of that. That's coming up really quickly here. As soon as it's exported, I'm going to be showcasing that to you. The power of News Now is being shown right now. So, wow. A lot of action to be shown today. Okay, right now Skyfox is hovering over Scottsdale, North Scottsdale, near 100th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright. rain coverage earlier in downtown Phoenix of the storm.
So, guys, was that the supposed flooded apartment complex at 100th Street and Franklin, right?
I want to thank you all for watching this coverage of the rain just coming down in Phoenix. We really appreciate everybody. The East Valley has really got pounded this evening. We are going to continue on with this monsoon coverage. As soon as we get this video from North Scottsdale, a man let us into his home and really showed some of the storm damage already taking place inside his home. So we will have that very shortly, within the next 2 to 3 minutes. So thank you all for staying put there and watching this stream. A little bit later, coming up at 8 o'clock, we will then switch on over to the Mo Money pawn shop story. Ty Brennan, our very own Ty Brennan, did interview the co-owner there to talk about the alleged suspect in the freeway shootings, and how the investigation, how they deal with the police during an investigation like that. So a lot of insight there from the co-owner. It's a great 8-minute raw interview that we are going to showcase it to you in its entirety. So be on the lookout for that. But we are going to just wait around for this video to come and pop up for us so we can show you the damage of North Scottsdale already happening to one man in his neighborhood. So be on the lookout for that, guys. Okay, everybody, we did just get that video in, so we are going to take you to see some of the damage in North Scottsdale. This is going to be your first look. And here we go. Once again, this is raw video from our photographer in North Scottsdale, showing you some of the rain that really hit this neighborhood. Wow, take a look at that. You could really take a look at that rain there on that street.
What is it?
Fox 10 News.
Oh, God, I thought you were a police guy.
Oh, no. Well, what did you think, though, when you saw that? That was crazy, right?
I thought I had a leak, under the floor. I thought a pipe was leaking.
Right.
A floor leak, but it's not a floor leak.
It's not is it in your house?
Yes. My house, I'm telling you, you can come in and look at it.
Oh, my God. Yeah, let's look in and look, man. I mean, look at this. Oh, this is crazy. What's that?
I was coming outside to see if my water was running someplace.
Oh, right.
I was going to shut the water off in the house.
They just come out for this. Oh, my God. Oh.
In there.
Oh my God, that's your backyard.
Yes, was my backyard.
As you can see, this guy has just really got flooded out here in North Scottsdale. Poor guy.
What's going through your mind right now when you see all this? It's just innocent stuff, right? Has this ever happened before?
No, nothing. Not like this. I didn't even see any rain. I didn't hear any thunder. I saw no lightning, nothing. I've been in the house for the last couple hours.
And all of a sudden this.
And then I'm just coming out of the room where my computer is, and I'm saying, oh my God, where's this water from?
Oh no. And look at how close it is to the line here. I mean, yeah, let's keep that close. Oh my God.
It's stopped. It's not raining.
Right, I don't know.
Where's it coming from?
It downpoured pretty bad. Do you have damage inside or are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you have damage inside?
All right. Well, that is going to conclude our monsoon coverage for a little bit, unless something really does come about. We will be showcasing that a little bit later. In the meantime, we are now going to go to what was supposed to be our lead story tonight. Are you guys ready for the Mo Money Pawn Shop owner? We're going to have the raw interview for you right about now. Are you guys ready for it? We will go for it. You guys are awesome. Here we go. In its entirety. As promised, we have it for you. Here we go.
Began and how you guys kind of first were alerted that the gun could potentially be here, that the intention.
I believe it was Wednesday. DPS called us and put 2 guns on hold, and they knew the high point 9mm. They put them on hold, and then they came in and confiscated them. And they brought their scientists down here. They looked up the 2 guns. They took them and shot them, and by doing that, they matched the ballistics up to the gun.
Did they give you any indication why they were taking those 2 guns?
No, they never do. They were just basically, usually they put someone on police hold, you just get the detective's name and number, and they put on police hold. They don't ever have to tell us anything. We kind of had a feeling because of everything that was going on, but they don't tell us anything.
Now, is this something that's kind of routine that DPS might give you guys, or police comes and gives you a visit?
Well, DPS, no. We usually don't deal with them. We usually deal with like Phoenix PD, the pawn shop detail, stuff like that. So when it was DPS, we kind of, little light bulb went off in our head that it might have been what it was related to.
And when the news finally came out linking kind of you guys that had the gun to the I-10 shooter, kind of what was going through your head?
Honestly, I was on vacation. I didn't know about it until I got back yesterday morning, and I had a million reporters, phone numbers to call, and everything like that. We did a morning show on the radio this morning. We're just happy to do our part. You know, we did the proper paperwork, we did the proper transactions so that they can link him to this crime.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about, is can you walk me through exactly when someone walks in trying to sell a gun, what do you guys do? What are the steps?
It's the same for a gun or a TV. It doesn't matter what it is. You have to provide state-issued ID. We get 2 signatures, we get a fingerprint, and you're always on surveillance. So there is no, I was here, I wasn't here. I mean, it's with the fingerprint, there's no getting out of that.
And that was my next question, is that in court, I'm sure you've probably seen it by now, he states that that gun was in the pawn shop for the past 2 months. There's no way he could have done that.
That's wrong. He's actually picked the gun up and pawned it. He picked it up once, pawned it again, picked it up, pawned it again, then pawned it for a 3rd time before it got confiscated.
So 3 times that gun has been here. Can you tell me those dates? Do you have those?
I do. It was pawned the first time on July 19th and picked up July 24th. It was pawned again on August 1st through August 22nd. It was picked up. Then it was pawned again at August 30th at about 5:30 p.m. And that's when it was confiscated on the 17th of September.
That's when DPS
DPS came in and picked it up.
Okay. And that same particular gun?
Same gun, same person each time.
Now, if this guy's been here 3 times, I know you guys get a lot of business, obviously, but did your employees have any type of interaction with him that they might have remembered this was sketchy, or?
Believe it or not, a lot of my customers are repeat customers, people that can't make it from Friday to Friday. So, a transaction like that, I've had people upon the same thing 50 times. So 3 times, no. And every time he picked up the gun, he also went through a federal background check. So he was cleared every time he picked the gun up. So he had no prior record or prior history whatsoever, so nothing came up as sketchy or out of the ordinary whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. This just kind of must be a little bit of a whirlwind for you.
Yeah,
kind of with everything that's going on.
And I missed half of it, so yes, it is.
What is just kind of personally your feelings on all of this going down?
I just think, like I said, I'm happy he's off the streets. DPS did a great job. The Phoenix PD did a great job. I said DPS officer here earlier. He's worked 18-hour days for the last 20 days. Everyone put in their due diligence, and I believe, and I hope we got the right person. And with all the evidence, it adds up that we do, or that they do. Actually, I didn't do nothing. They put all the work in.
Now, you were talking about the surveillance. Obviously, we're under camera everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. How many? I don't know. You probably don't want to go into this, maybe, but how many cameras or how many?
I have 32 cameras.
32 cameras watching every move.
Yep. And there's not one spot in the building that you're not on camera.
Now, did DPS obviously probably confiscated?
Yeah,
everything?
DPS took my DVRs, so they have all that in their possession. They brought back the other gun that wasn't the case gun. They brought that back today. They have our DVRs. They have this fingerprint. They have all the signatures. They got all that in their possession.
Just real quick, this really doesn't slow down your business. I mean, it's good to help, and they take this stuff from you, but it doesn't slow you down at all.
It doesn't slow us down. Look, I think it's like 1/8% of stuff that is pawned, being jewelry, or whatever else comes back as stolen. So it's just a chance we take doing daily business. And most of the time we get paid back restitution when someone goes to jail, or that's part of the probation. They got to pay us back whatever we lost. And then of course publicity never does anyone any bad.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Have you had a lot of people coming in asking you guys about this?
Oh yes. Like I said, we did a 98 KUPD show this morning on the radio. I was on a cruise. When I turned my phone on, finally my phone's blowing up. I had no idea what was going on. So yeah, it's pretty big.
Wow. Now, can you just walk me through, just going back to the checks that you guys do? Is there like a database that every item gets put into?
We email every transaction we do to the police department every single night. There's actually a part of the Northern Command Center is called Pawn Detail. So all they do is manage pawn shops. So everything we do, no matter if it's how big or how small, gets emailed to them every night. And we go through monthly inspections. They come in and inspect us and make sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing correctly and everything's getting entered. So we're one of the most regulated businesses in Phoenix.
That's a lot of paperwork.
It is a lot of paperwork. I mean, trust me, it's a lot of paperwork.
Unbelievable. I didn't realize that. I mean, I think this is kind of bringing to light a lot that you guys really do behind the scenes.
And exactly. And the ATF comes in. You know, we deal with ATF all the time. We go through yearly inspections with them. They come and check our books monthly also. I mean, you can't mess it up. If you lose your license, if you do the same thing, you know, that due diligence gets done, and I have a chance of going to jail. I mean, because it's all on me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think
If he didn't bring the gun to a licensed dealer or my dealer, he wouldn't be behind bars. He could have sold it on Craigslist, a firearms show, or even threw it in the canal. But due to due diligence, everything got reported, and now he's behind bars.
All right. Well, that was the owner speaking at that pawn shop, just talking about how the investigation took part about his store and how they had to give up the gun in question of the alleged freeway shooter. So much more coming of this story. We know is going to be happening. Of course, stay with Fox 10 as we provide some of the best coverage in the Valley, the very best coverage for this investigation that will continue on and eventually possibly go to trial. So we will be there every step of the way. I do want to bring up another press conference that was featured today, but we didn't have time to show it to you earlier. Earlier today, the mayor and the Phoenix police chief held a press conference on a new grant that the Phoenix Police Department will be getting, and they're pretty excited about it, so we are going to show that to you. It's going to put more men and women on the streets of Phoenix.
Everyone, thank you for being here. I'm Greg Stanton, Mayor of the City of Phoenix. Behind me is Councilman Michael Nowakowski, who is the Chair of the Public Safety Subcommittee of the Phoenix City Council. Immediate behind me is Milton Dehoney, Assistant City Manager, and he manages police, fire, emergency management services, and our Police Chief, Chief Yonner. And we just wanted to report some information that has sort of been leaking out a little bit. We wanted to put it in a larger package because it's very good news for the Phoenix Police Department, very good news for the citizens of Phoenix. The best police department in the United States of America just got a little bit better and a little bit bigger. And we have 5 major grants that we have received to make our department stronger. First and foremost is a cops hiring grant, a $3.1 million grant from the Department of Justice COPS program that we're going to be using to hire 25 additional police officers that will be hired this fiscal year in the city of Phoenix. That's above and beyond the strong police hiring plan that we have in place. So over the next 4 years, as a result of this grant, and a result of smart planning by the people of Phoenix, as a result of the passage of Proposition 104, which will allow some general fund money to instead of used for transportation, will be used for public safety. We're going to be hiring close to 500 police officers in the city of Phoenix over the next 4 years. We also received a very large grant for what's called the Body Camera Smart Policing Initiative that the chief is going to be using to deploy 125 more body cameras, officers with body cameras throughout the city, and partner with ASU to study the effectiveness of body cameras. And so I think the chief will go in a lot more detail about how that's going to improve policing, improve community trust, and what they will be studying as well. We also received a grant, over $450,000 for DNA capacity enhancement and backlog reduction program. As you know, the ability to get DNA tested for solving crimes is critically important to our police department, critically important for public safety. So that was very good news that we received significant resources to lessen our DNA backlog. Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force has received close to $400,000. And another important grant, the Intellectual Property Enforcement Program, received over $250,000 to allow our police department, our police officers, to get much more involved in supporting businesses, small businesses, in protection of intellectual property rights. This is a big deal for the city of Phoenix. This is what success looks like. We are one of the most well-respected police departments in the entire country. It's the reason why when we apply for competitive grants, we win. We do very, very well. In fact, that award of the COPS hiring grant, $3.1 million, is the highest grant award in the United States of America of any city size across this country this year. Very, very good news for, again, our police department and the citizens of Phoenix. And I'm proud that this chief and this department are going to be using those resources to increase community trust, to increase community relations. All of those officers are going to go to the benefit of the community relations department. It's going to increase transparency with the body cameras and the deployment of body cameras on officers across this city. This chief and this department and this city is committed to building and improving community trust. And so the decisions that are made, strategic decisions with regard to these very successful grant awards, to use it in that effort is something that I'm proud of. Chief, I just want to say thank you. Without further ado, I'm going to hand it next to the chairman of the City Council Public Safety Subcommittee. He's going to say a few words. The chief's going to say a few words and give a little more context to these award grants and explain to the citizens of Phoenix how it's going to help them and help public safety in our city. And then we'll
leadership, and also as chair of the Public Safety Subcommittee, I have one of my colleagues on Cape Gallegos, if you want to come on up, that's also a member and that advocates for these types of grants. You know, we already have an aggressive plan to increase the police hiring. We're on track with the 270 police officers for this next summer. And we also have a plan by 2019 to have 500 police officers. So this shows that we're on track and we're not slowing down. We're going to look for every single grant opportunity that's out there to increase police officers on the streets in our neighborhoods, because that's what it's all about. It's about keeping our neighborhoods safe, taking back those neighborhoods, and making sure that our police officers are a part of that community. I really want to thank our police chief that really reaches out to the community and makes sure that they feel that they're a part of it. With the whole body camera, when he first became police chief, we had a community town hall up in the north side of the town where we talked about body cameras and the opportunities to grow our program from Maryville throughout the whole city of Phoenix. And this is a great opportunity for us to really increase that program with this grant for body cameras. So, Chief, I want to thank you for reaching out to our community, for being a man of your word, and hopefully we can get some more police officers out there on the street. With that,
Thank you all for being here. As the mayor and the councilman said, we had a great week. We apply for grants all the time, and this week we were very successful in 5 different areas, and 2 of them which are huge for us in our community, and that's the on-body cameras and enhancing our trust within the community. I want to start by thanking city leadership, the city manager's office, the mayor, the public safety subcommittee. Without their support and their direction, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be hiring as many officers as we're going to hire, and we wouldn't have had the opportunity to get these grants. I also want to thank the citizens of Phoenix for their support of our police department and their support of the men and women that are out on the street every day taking care of business and making our city safe. One of our biggest challenges as a city and as a police department has been staffing. We have reduced our staffing over the course of the last several years, and I'm very excited that we're going to start increasing staffing, again, with the support of the mayor and the council. These grants help us with that. The first grant, which was mentioned, is 25 police officers, and they'll be in our Community Relations Bureau. And these officers will be used for a variety of things. They'll be able to enhance our citizen advisory boards, our Explorer program, which is a youth program that targets kids 14 to 18 years old, a cadet program that's 18 to 21, working with the youth in the community so that we have productive citizens of the future, but police officers of the future as well. A whole bunch of things as far as our bias crime squad. Recently, we created a crisis intervention team that only has 6 officers on right now. That team goes out and picks up mental health emergency, involuntary emergency orders. With these additional officers, we'll be able to enhance that team as well. So from a community relations perspective, we'll be able to do a lot more things with those 25 officers, and we're really excited about it. There's plenty of work to do in the community realm, and we're excited about getting after it. The second thing is the on-body camera grant that we received, and it's about $650,000. And one thing to keep in mind is Phoenix has been out in the forefront as far as cameras go. We started a pilot program back in 2011. We enhanced that with a Smart Policing Initiative grant similar to this in 2012, where we put a group of 56 cameras out in the Maryville precinct, and we did some initial studies. And I want to thank Assistant Chief Mike Kurtenbach for heading up that program. He's in the audience today. Did a great job with that. That, in my opinion, humble opinion, that program allowed us to get this grant and expand upon our research and our ability to see how on-body cameras actually work and how they impact community trust and community relationships. Every police department around the country you're hearing is going to on-body cameras. Okay, that's great. but what are all the other issues that you got to talk about? How do you store all that information? What does it really do as far as citizens' complaints investigations? What does it really do as far as prosecution? With our partnership with ASU and our police department in this particular grant, we're going to answer a lot of those questions. So we're really looking forward to getting to the nuts and bolts of the on-body camera issue in law enforcement. And again, the Phoenix Police Department and the City of Phoenix are at the forefront of that. We also got 3 additional grants. I won't get into them too much. The mayor kind of covered them pretty good. But these grants will enhance our investigative ability. The grants will keep our children safer. It'll allow us to better analyze evidence. And it will also help us target counterfeit property that is killing our local businesses as far as people buying counterfeit goods instead of the real deal. And that's our best squad that we've talked about in the past. So with that, I want to thank the mayor, the council, city manager's office for their support in hiring of police officers and their support in getting these grants and helping us implement those grants. So with that, I think we'll answer questions.
Any questions you have?
Yeah, Chief Gunner, real quick,
Sure.
just from your overall impression of using the body cams, we're seeing more and more police agencies across the country using them. We've had it here for 4 years. Do you feel like it is a good tool for officers to have? It's a good tool when it comes to investigations and going out on calls. You know, what's your overall impression? You feel like this is a positive?
Absolutely. I think it's a great tool. With our city leadership, we're moving forward with it. You know, we started with 56 through some general fund budgets as well, not just grant money. We expanded that program out in Maryville to 125. This is 150 additional cameras. So, yeah, they're the tool of the future. Now, are they the catch-all for everything? Not really, but they are very good. And the video, although the video is good, it's the audio, too. We can hear a lot of the audio, and that's very important because the video only shows what the officer sees, you know, straight ahead. Because the one we have right now is like a pager that sits on your chest, and it only has this view. You can't really see what's going on around, but the audio is very good. So it is the tool of the future, and we're very supportive of it.
And is it good, I guess, the officers feel better having it on, the public feels good knowing that there's documentation, it's a win-win on both sides? What's your assessment?
Yeah, initial assessment is it changes the behavior of both parties. The police officers are on video, their behavior, in my opinion, is better. The citizen behavior, in my opinion, is better because everything is recorded and there's no saying, well, that really didn't happen that way, because we can all watch it and determine it for ourselves. So I think it does change behavior of both parties. I think it's transparent. It's all public record, and that's one of the issues that this grant is going to help us with. You know, if we have 150 police officers working 10 hours a day, recording for maybe 8 of those hours a day, that's a lot of information. We have to figure out how to store that, how to redact that, how to release that, privacy issues. There's a myriad of issues associated to cameras, and we're going to work our way through those.
Chief, how will you determine which officers will be wearing the cameras?
We're going to do it randomly, and that's why we partnered with ASU, because they're a lot smarter than us when it comes to getting information out and gathering information. So we're going to randomly assign them throughout the city, and then we're going to have a couple control groups. And again, I don't know all the ins and outs of how that research mechanism works, but a control group of officers that don't have cameras and a control group of officers that do have cameras, some reporting forms and information, and then evaluating how those two groups interact.
What's the number again? The 150?
Approximately 150. Now, we initially submitted for $700,000. That was reduced. We're going to have to go back and look at some of the budgeting things. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to go out for an RFP on the cameras. So there'll be some pricing issues in there. You know, maybe with a real good price, we get it $200. I don't know. So it's approximately 150.
And how long will this study with ASU go on before the results are known?
You know, I don't know. It'll take us at least a year because we don't even get the money to the beginning of next year. So this is going to be in process for a while.
Chief, what's the biggest issue that has come up with these cameras so far? The ones that you already have?
Storage of the information that we gather. That is a huge issue for a lot of agencies, and good for us. When we first went online in 2012, the technology has changed a lot. We store everything, I don't want to say hard copy, but we store it, you know, at the police station. We have to redact it. There's cloud alternatives now. The technology as far as cameras go has really increased. So we're looking forward to getting the best product we possibly can with the technology that's available today.
Chief, the $450,000 for the DNA backlog, can you talk about that backlog, and does that include untested sexual assault kits?
I don't know about the sexual assault kits. I'll have to check on that. But what I say to that is, what's your definition of backlog? because we have DNA evidence that we want to analyze. And we gather a tremendous amount of DNA evidence at scenes of homicides and property crimes. Now, we have the ability on a homicide to move that, expedite the analysis of that homicide case so that we can get it done quicker. But we still want to get to this property crimes case as well. So we're inundated with DNA evidence, and we want to get to all of it. So when you say backlog, I know that's what the grant says, but we want to get to all of it, and we want to get to it quickly. So that's our goal with that grant. As far as the sexual assault kits, I'm going to leave that one for Trent Crump when we're done here.
Any other questions?
Mayor, can I just ask you, again, what's kind of the overall message to the public with these kind of grants, the body cameras, the extra officers? It's like, look, you're going to be safer tomorrow. That's the goal, to feel more comfortable, to improve public safety. This is a good day for...
Well, first, an amazing accomplishment in public safety in police work has been the fact that during times of attrition, where the number of officers in the department has been decreasing. No one got fired, but through attrition, the number has gone down during the worst economic times. Crime in the city still did very well. We still set some record lows in over the last 40 years or so in terms of crime. Our officers on the street were doing incredible work. They've done their job. And now we're getting some resources and support coming their way that they've been asking for a long period of time. We already had in place a public safety hiring plan to bring on almost 400 officers over the next 4 years. Layer onto that the fact that when Proposition 104 passed, the City Council made a commitment that the money saved that was otherwise used to subsidize transit out of the general fund would no longer do that. We're going to use that to hire 125 more police officers immediately. Now layer on top of that this outstanding grant, the highest award amount in the United States of America. We owe a huge debt of gratitude to the Department of Justice for selecting Phoenix #1. You layer onto that 25 more officers being hired this year. There is a lot of hiring going on in the Phoenix Police Department this fiscal year and over the next few fiscal years. So reinforcements are coming along the way. Second message is the priority of this chief, the priority of this council is to do all we can to build as much trust in the community. This police department is on top of this issue. They have worked hard over the number of years to build trust in this community. But that effort never stops. It's always an ongoing effort to continue to build additional trust. It makes for a better department. It makes for a safer community. It makes for more safety for our police officers. And the decision of this chief to utilize these resources in those areas of building that community trust, either those Explorer programs or trying to educate and prepare the next generation of great police officers in the community bias crimes arena and other areas in community relations. That's the kind of stuff when the department was shrinking, we weren't able to do as much as the community wanted or expected. Now we're doing it. So it's good news on many, many fronts, and that's why we wanted to give that update here today. Other questions?
Chief, Your Honor, by when should we expect to see the additional 25 officers on the streets?
Well, the funding, I think, for that particular grant isn't even until September 1st, or it was September 1st of this year, but you have to hire after that date. So we're going to have to hire 25, get them through the academy, get them through their FTO program, get them back out on the street, and then through probably a little bit at a time, we'll start drawing officers to Community Relations Bureau. Because what I can't do is, as soon as there's 25, take 25 off the street. We're going to do that incrementally and build the program over time. But we're going to get started on it right away. We're hiring in the academy right now. I think we have hired 80 people this year. We're going to hire a lot more, as the mayor was saying. We're really looking forward to getting these hired and moving them over towards our Community Relations Bureau.
So these, go ahead.
How big is the need right now, if you guys do have a need for bilingual officers?
We always have the need for bilingual officers. Do we have enough right now? I think we do. I haven't heard any issues in that regard in a very long time, but we can always use more. And if I can ask one thing as far as the hiring of you, we are looking for the best candidates. We are looking for a diverse police department that can serve this community. So if there's anything you in the media can help us attract candidates to police work, we would really appreciate it. If you're ever going to go to an event, we have a recruitment team that is on call 24/7 so that we can get the best candidates trained, hired, and serving the community.
And then these 25 officers you're going to be hiring with this grant, it was more important to put them in community relations than to increase the number of officers on the street?
Both are important. And I'm not trying to dodge your question, but they're both extremely important for the future of the police department. We are paying some overtime right now just to cover beats, We need to increase our officers on the street, our community action officers. All those types of things need to be increased, but also we need to have some specialized community relation officers to do the things like I've talked about. So they're equally as important, and together with the amount that the City Council and Mayor have given us, we can do both, and that's what's exciting about this. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I guess, Mayor, one more question. I guess in Prop 104, one of the selling points was hiring more officers. I mean, what are the plans for that allotted money?
Thank you for asking the question. It was $16 million in our general fund that currently, before Prop 104, was used to help support transportation infrastructure, management of our transportation system. With the passage of Proposition 104, we no longer will be utilizing any general fund money to support transportation. It's going to live off that dedicated funding source, the 0.7 of a cent. We voted before Prop 104 was put on the ballot that if it passed, that this resources be used to hire new officers. We reaffirmed that just last week. So those resources are now going to the chief and his department, and he's out there hiring. I mean, we are going, and the thing that the chief has said over and over and over again is that despite going through one of the biggest hiring phases in the history of the Phoenix Police Department right now, they will never lower their standards. Their standards are going to stay as high as they always have been, so that makes it a challenge, and that's why he's really reaching out to the community, the media, and saying, help us find qualified people, because we will not, in any regard, despite the vast amount of hiring, in any regard, lower the standards for the finest police department in the country. Any other questions? All right, thanks for covering this very much. Thank you very much.
All right, that was the mayor speaking, and the police chief of Phoenix about the new grants that they will be receiving shortly to put more men and women on the streets. And another big story that's international, and it just so happens to be in the United States now, is the Pope. He came earlier this afternoon, and I want to, just in case if you weren't able or if you were away, you didn't see his arrival, we do have that for you, so let me get that ready for you, and here is the arrival. Of course, this is the president going to meet the Pope. Samia will be providing coverage tomorrow morning at 6:15 as the Pope has another event, and we will be, of course, taking that live. Samia, once again, 6:15 tomorrow morning, we'll have a live event on News Now regarding the Pope. He is in America for the next 6 days, so be on the lookout for those live streams, including we will have a live stream this Saturday and Sunday by yours truly. We'll be showcasing the Pope in Philadelphia, so be on the lookout for that. Another event I wanted to show you guys as we start to draw near to our stream here is Carly Fiorona had a event today, town hall, if you will, and we are going to take that.
Debates and her op-eds that have been published in national newspapers, who has some very clear ideas and clear thinking about the role of the United States in the world affairs, the nature of national security, and how we address the most pressing, urgent issues that confront the United States in this new global environment which has taken shape over the last 6 years, let's say. So here's my first question for you.
Would you indulge me just for a moment?
Sure.
Before we dive into the questions, I would be honored to lead the audience in a Pledge of Allegiance. I think it's a good way to start.
I think it's a great idea.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's a good reminder of why we're all here talking about these issues.
And a good way to start out today's discussion. You wrote recently that the world is both a more tragic and a more dangerous place when the United States does not lead. In 2008, we elected a president who said he was going to lead. He was going to lead us in a new direction and make the world a safer and more secure place, and America more respected in that role. What's happened?
Yeah. Well, let's start with what those two words actually mean. Obviously, I think it's clear, almost everyone now, that the world is a more dangerous place. The rise of terrorism. Terrorism is not waning as a threat, as our president tried to reassure us. It is actually waxing. We have more terrorist groups. They are more brutal than ever before. We have rising regional hegemonies. So China wants to be the regional hegemon of the Asia Pacific. Russia wants to be the regional hegemon of Europe and perhaps even the Middle East, allied with its ally in Iran and Syria. Clearly, Iran wants to be the regional hegemon of the Middle East. It is exceedingly dangerous that Russia now has both fighter jets and troops in Syria. It is exceedingly dangerous that Russia, Syria, and Iran are now collaborating and coordinating, and that this administration's response to that is to have John Kerry talking to Russia. We can come back and talk in a moment about why we shouldn't do that, but I think it's clear the world is a more dangerous place. We have terrorist attacks here at home, whether they are on active military. We have police officers being assassinated. It's a dangerous world and an increasingly dangerous country. Tragic, though, is something that we don't always think about. I think we see the tragedies when hundreds of thousands of refugees, millions even, are pouring out of Syria into Europe. But it's worth remembering that while the Syrian refugees are taking the headlines today, it has been true for years now, as reported by the UN, that we have probably 45,000 people on the move every single day, driven out of their homes by conflict of some kind. It is true as well that human trafficking is on the rise. One of the tragedies of these refugee crises is or the immigration crisis on our southern border, for that matter, is you have an industry in human trafficking where people are preying on the ignorance and the hope of people, taking away from them whatever little money or resources they have, promising them some pipe dream of a journey to another place, and then stuffing them in the backs of trucks for a long and hideous journey in which people either die at sea, or we had that awful situation of 70 people dying in the back of a truck of suffocation. Human trafficking is an industry on the rise. And it is also true that the rights of women, not even rights, women and children are being subjugated in a way that's horrifying. It's medieval. You have rape being used as a systematic tool. You have sexual slavery of children, all on the rise all over the world. You have the persecution of Christians. It's a tragic and dangerous world. I think President Obama's fundamental belief is that the world is better when we are one among many nations. And he said this in a variety of ways. Well, America thinks it's exceptional the way Greeks think they're exceptional. We need to join the family of nations. He misunderstands fundamentally. The United States of America is a unique nation in all the world and in all of human history. We are the only nation in human history that does not conquer territory but liberates people. We are the only nation. We are the only nation that does the right thing even though our enemies do not do the right thing for us. I mean, for heaven's sakes, we keep terrorists in air-conditioned facilities. We ensure that all of their rights are met. Why? Because we're Americans. And we are the only nation that has been founded on the idea that the individual, that each life is precious. That makes us not one among many nations. That makes us a unique nation. And only we can lead the world in the way that it now needs leadership.
Well, let's talk about leadership and what's going to be required in dealing with various aspects of this dangerous world that you've painted for us. Let's start with China. Again, in one of your op-eds, you mentioned China is America's rising adversary. It's not a view that was very popular, let's say, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Everybody believed that the United States and China, the consensus was we were going to grow more alike, and the more business and more trade we did, that we would become more and more, not just good friends, but that China would sort of rub off on China. It would become more of a society like ours. I think the growing consensus is now, and I live and work in Washington, I get to sort of see what the thinking is on the Hill and in the major strategic think tanks, is that we're moving in a new direction, and that is it's no longer, the keynote for our relationship with China now is not cooperation, but competition. You say rising adversary. Let's look at an aspect, particularly with regard to the issue of cyber and cybersecurity. We had a situation in which Chinese hackers who could be traced back to China stole the identities of what, about 1 out of every 15 Americans, I think, from the Office of Personnel Management. And yet the response has been weak, feeble, almost non-existent to it. How would you, as president, deal with this new challenge that China poses to us without endangering the relationships we already have? After all, we have very strong economic ties to us. They own a lot of our debt. How would you sort of recast and reconfigure our relationship with China so that we're able to deal with the threats and that they face us, but at the same time we don't end up either hurting ourselves or precipitating a major crisis?
So let me begin by saying that I actually think that our economic interdependence, let me use that term for a moment, gives us great leverage. And let me explain why, if I may. By the way, can you all hear me? Okay. I'm sorry? Is there a handheld that I could use? I think this is the issue. Contrary to some caricatures, I'm quite soft-spoken, actually. Is that better? Yes, much better. Okay. The Chinese government has made a deal with their people. And the deal is this. Chinese people will tolerate repression, censorship, awful safety standards, killing pollution. They will tolerate all this in return for an economy that is growing fast enough to lift millions of people out of poverty year after year after year. And that bargain has worked pretty well for a long time for this regime. Why does that give us leverage? Because we are China's largest market. They cannot grow at the rate they need to grow unless we continue to supply their largest market. Not only that, our companies are providing them with technology, with jobs, with access to goods and services that the Chinese people expect as their standard of living rises. This gives us leverage. And so we need a president who understands how to use that leverage. Let me come back to that in just one moment. But let me say, with regard to their military aggression, both in cyberspace and in the Asia Pacific, there are very specific things we need to do. First, with regard to the cyber attack. So I served as the chairman of the advisory board for the Central Intelligence Agency for several years. I've advised 2 secretaries of defense, the head of the CIA, the head of the NSA, a secretary of Homeland Security. I've held the highest clearances available to a civilian. I tell you that to say this. We have known for at least 12 years that the Chinese had a strategy to hack our most important federal government databases and systems. This is not a surprise. It is an example of government ineptitude that the Chinese were able to hack the Office of Personnel Management. It's an example of what happens when bureaucracies become so bloated, so unaccountable, where there is no consequence for non-performance, that people just don't do their jobs. And in fact, the head of the Office of Personnel Management was warned 4 months before this cyber attack, this latest cyber attack, was warned by an Inspector General report, 2 of them in fact, that said to her, you know, you have major vulnerabilities in your systems. In fact, if you go and look at somebody who spent all of my lifetime in technology, they were missing the most basic industry standard protections. 2-step authentication processes were missing. Basic stuff was missing. And nothing happened. They didn't plug the holes. They didn't fix it. And so, of course, the Chinese got in. Of course, the Chinese got in. The United States must retaliate. And instead of greeting the Chinese leadership with a huge state dinner, I'd have them come over, all right, but I'd cancel the state dinner and all the falderall, and I've had a long conversation in the Oval Office to say, understand, there will be consequences. We will retaliate. We consider this an act of aggression. Longer term, we have to stand up a consolidated command to protect our most vulnerable systems and databases from cyber attacks, which are ongoing from many actors, not just China, Russia, North Korea, and others. But for now, we have to have that very serious conversation. Second, with regard to the Asia Pacific, once again, the Obama administration continues to reward bad behavior. And when you reward bad behavior, what do you get? More of it, right? This isn't rocket science. If you let your teenager do bad stuff over and over again, what do? More bad stuff. Well, it's true of China and everybody else. So the Obama administration intervenes to try and settle a dispute between the Philippines and China over these disputed islands. Everything gets settled. Supposedly, the administration claims credit for this agreement, and what happens? China almost immediately violates the agreement, and what happens? Nothing. And so what do the Chinese conclude? Okay, we're going for broke, and now they're building military bases on these disputed islands. It is China's goal to try and create a choke point through one of the most profitable trading routes in the world. $5 trillion worth of trade goes through the South China Sea every single year, and China wants to be the choke point. We cannot tolerate this. We cannot permit it. And so we need to be working with the Vietnamese, the Filipinos, the Japanese, the Australians to provide them with the set of capabilities they have specifically asked us for to help detect when the Chinese are in waters, specific set of capabilities they've asked us for to patrol those waters. We need to make it very clear that we will not tolerate China's control of that strait, either by sea or by air, through actions, not words. Finally, I'm sorry for the long answer, but these are complex issues that are important for people to understand, all of us to understand, and I don't know whether our President, our Secretary of State, both current, Kerry, and former, Clinton, either understand or care. But finally, economic leverage. Yes, it is true that the Chinese hold half the debt of this nation. It's one of the reasons why we have to reduce our debt, but it also makes them incredibly dependent upon us. They are dependent on this market continuing to be open to them. And so one of the things that I would do right now, when the Chinese government is struggling, the Chinese economy is struggling, their stock market is in free fall, they have not been able to transition their economy effectively to a consumer-led set of purchasing behavior. Now they are vulnerable. And so in that conversation with Xi, I would be saying, as President of the United States, unless we see very different behavior, we will require you to play by the same rules in our marketplace that you force us to play by in your marketplace, which means you don't get to buy American companies 100% because we're not permitted to buy any of your companies more than 20%. You don't get to list a company's IPO on the New York Stock Exchange. If you continue to violate intellectual property, which they do as a matter of strategy, we will seek consequences and retribution. This is a time for a real reset with China. I have no confidence this president will even attempt such a thing. It will be all gesture and protocol. President Fiorina will do it.
Speaking of rewarding bad behavior, let's talk about Iran. Many people say, and I agree, that whether to say yay or nay to the nuclear deal that President Obama and Secretary of State Kerry negotiated with Iran may be the single most important decision in American foreign policy to be made since the end of the Cold War. I think, again, I'm speaking from a Washington viewpoint, what's happening there, what I see and what I hear, the people I meet and talk to, there's a growing consensus, I think, that this deal is a bad one. And a consensus that, in fact, that the more you learn, the worse it looks. If this deal does reach final confirmation, which seems to be possible, and if the UN Security Council goes ahead and gives a final vote of approval to lifting of sanctions, which in a sense endorses the Obama-Kerry deal, what's to be done? And I'm going to put you on the spot. It's the morning after the inauguration. You're now President Carly Fiorina. What's the first thing that you do to deal with the Iran issue?
I will make 2 phone calls on day 1 in the Oval Office, and I will make sure that the entire world knows the phone calls have been made. The first will be to my good friend Bibi Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, to reassure him we will stand with the state of Israel always. The second will be to the Supreme Leader of Iran. Realistically, I am not sure he will take my phone call. I don't think I am quite his cup of tea. But he will get the message. And the message is this: New deal. I don't care what deal you signed. I don't care what deal the Europeans have signed up to. I don't care what deal the UN has signed up to. New deal with a new president. Until and unless you open every military and every nuclear facility to real, anytime, anywhere inspections by our people, not yours, we, the United States of America, will make it as difficult as possible for you to move money around the global financial system. We can do that. We can do that. I will do it. We can do it by cutting off their access to global payment processing systems. We can do it by saying to any bank, if you do business in Iran, you will not do business in the United States of America. We can do it by ensuring that American companies do not do business in Iran. Why is it important to do it? Why is it vital to do it? Because even if Congress had managed to stop this deal, and I'll come back to that in a moment, the truth is the money is flowing. The Chinese, the Russians, the Europeans, money is flowing in. And when President Obama talked about P5+1, we're all on the same side of the table, actually we were not all on the same side of the table. China and Russia were on their side of the table. And their side of the table is we want Iran's economy opened because it does good things for China and Russia. So the money is going to flow. And with the money, what happens? We know what happens. With the money, Iran funds its military and its nuclear capability. There's no question they want a nuclear weapon. They've wanted a nuclear weapon for 30 years. There's no question they're building up military capacity. There is no question that they want to be the regional hegemon of the Middle East. There is no question that they will continue to fund their proxies at even greater levels to sow conflict and discord. There is no question that the Quds force will now even be a more dangerous force and capability than it is today. There's no question about these things. And so we have to cut off the money flow. And the reason I will make sure that the entire world knows that I have made those 2 phone calls is because with those 2 phone calls, the entire world will know the United States of America is back in the leadership business, and they are going to stand with their allies, and they are going to confront their adversaries. And that is a message that every ally and every adversary must understand loud and clear. Allow me to say one other thing, if I may. The way this Iranian deal has wended its way through Congress and the Senate is why I believe people are so cynical about the professional political class. It is why 82% of the American people now believe that we have professional politicians of both parties who are more concerned with the preservation of their power, their privilege, their position than on doing the people's work. The Democrats who voted for this deal, if you read their statements, they are saying terrible things about this deal. They are highlighting all of their incredible concerns about this deal. And yet they're passing the deal. Why? Because they are more concerned about the Democrat Party's ability to punish them in their re-election campaign by withholding money than they are concerned about the future of the world. That's why. And Republicans, in the meantime, many are saying, oh, I would let this deal stand. I would see if they're cheating. For heaven's sakes, they've been cheating for 30 years. How much more evidence do we need? But beyond that, if ever there was a time for the nuclear option, boy, it's the Iran deal. If ever there was a time for the nuclear option, I don't mean, let me explain. Let me explain. I realize that might be confusing. The nuclear option in terms of Senate process that lowers the number of votes necessary. The nuclear option was invoked by Senator Harry Reid to try and get judicial appointments through. Boy, if judicial appointments are important enough to invoke the nuclear option as a process and procedure in the Senate, don't you think the Iran deal might have been worth that? And yet the leadership did not do so.
I would say that the number one question that we've gotten from the audience has been about Iran. And by the way, I just want to remind you again, there are cards if you want to send up questions on defense and foreign policy and so on, and I'll be happy to give them to Ms. Fiorina. The second, you know what the second most popular question has been from the audience? Russia, and particularly Russia and Syria.
That's because it's a smart audience.
And the disturbing news about the fact that Vladimir Putin has now put in a permanent air base in Syria. We know Russian troops are engaged in combat operations there now in support of dictator Assad. I myself wrote an article for National Review this last week, speculating that perhaps that what we're seeing with Putin's drive forward here in Syria and the lack of response from the White House is that the Pax Americana in the Middle East is being replaced by the Pax Putinica. And that's not probably a very good thing, not only for the United States, but for the region and for peace and freedom in the region. Again, we've got a situation. How do you deal with someone like Vladimir Putin, who just seems to not only be able to, has gotten used to a pattern of doing things with aggressive moves with impunity, but also seems to be very smart about where he moves, whether it's in Europe or in the Middle East and Asia?
Well, Vladimir Putin is very smart. Vladimir Putin lusts for power of all kinds, and he is accumulating power of all kinds. And he absolutely wants to replace Pax Americana with Pax Putinica. And of course, the lack of response by this administration has rewarded bad behavior of Vladimir Putin over and over again. Let us just begin with Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's gimmicky red reset button. I mean, if that was not a signal to a regime that we didn't need to be taken seriously, I don't know what was. And of course, Putin has seen no resistance from this United States of America as his ambitions have continued to grow. No resistance. Having met this man, I would not talk to him. I think we're talking way too much to him. And it is a stunning indication of how weak the United States of America under this president and these secretaries of state has become when the President of the United States dispatches his Secretary of State, John Kerry, to talk with the Russian foreign minister about their troops in Syria. Really? Really? So, Vladimir Putin must see strength and resolve on the other side of the table. I would immediately begin rebuilding the Sixth Fleet right in his backyard. I will immediately begin rebuilding the missile defense program in Poland right under his nose. I will conduct regular, aggressive military exercises in the Baltic states, and for good measure, I'd probably throw in a few thousand more troops into Germany, right on their borders. Vladimir Putin has to see strength and resolve and leadership on the other side. We did nothing when General Soleimani, the head of the Quds Force, the Iranian force in charge of exterior operations, that's what they're called, travels to Russia, speaks with Vladimir Putin. What was he there talking about? What he was there talking about, ladies and gentlemen, was air bases and troops in Syria in coordination with Iran. And nothing happened. We said nothing. With regard to our military options in Syria, this is what happens when we do not lead. 3 years ago, President Obama had a lot of options in Syria. Today, he has very few. For 3 years, he has done nothing. He has said Bashar al-Assad has to go. He's talked about imaginary red lines. He's done all these talked, and done nothing. And so, of course, the situation has gotten immeasurably worse. The humanitarian refugee crisis that we are seeing was entirely predictable. I don't want to sit here and tell you that I know precisely militarily what should be done in Syria, because I don't right now. The situation has become very complex. So what I would do with regard to Syria specifically is sit down with our best military minds, and there are many that offered options to President Obama a couple years ago. He didn't like the options, and they were retired early. I would gather our military experts, both those who still serve and those who were retired, and look at the full range of options. But I also would, and this is vitally important, our Arab allies in the region have been asking us for very specific things to demonstrate that we stand with them and that we will lead, and we have not provided a single one of them. So King Abdullah of Jordan, a man I've known longer actually than Bibi Netanyahu, he's a fine man. He is a strong ally. When the Egyptian pilot was burned alive in a cage, King Abdullah of Jordan was here in this nation. And he was here in our nation's capital asking for something very specific, bombs and materiel to help his Air Force, because he is fighting ISIS on the ground as we speak. Guess what? He hasn't gotten them. The Kurds have been asking us to arm them for 3 years because they are, the Peshmerga are the most effective fighting force against ISIS on the ground. We are not arming them. I will. The Egyptians have asked us to share intelligence. The president of Egypt, he is not a perfect man, but he is a Muslim of courage who, when the 21 Coptic Christians were beheaded on the beaches of Egypt, President al-Sisi started bombing, but he also did this. He walked into Cairo, he sat with the 5 top imams in Cairo, and he said to them the truth, which is, there is a cancer in the heart of Islam, and only Muslims, and especially Muslim clerics, can root it out. For that, he deserves our support, because he is trying to gather a NATO-like force of Arabs, allies, who will fight ISIS and defeat them, and we are not helping him. In fact, when he made that statement, our president said, we can neither condemn nor condone President al-Sisi's actions and words. We've left him high and dry. So it's whether it's the Qataris, the Emiratis, the Saudis, the Omanis, the Bahrainis, the Kuwaitis, the Jordanians, the Egyptians. They need to see strength and support and resolve from us. So I would hold a Camp David summit, immediately gather those people and ask them what they need from us to help defeat ISIS, because if they cannot defeat ISIS, then Syria and Iran become stronger and stronger.
You've also written, speaking of strength, you've also written that the United States must have the strongest military in the world, and you added, which I thought was very interesting, you added, and the world must know it.
That's right.
Now, you know what critics will say, of course, including, I think, probably in the Obama administration. They'd say, look, we still spend more on the military than any other country in the world. 36% of all the money that's spent on military spent by the United States. We still have the biggest Navy in the world. We still have the most sophisticated aircraft, military aircraft. We've got bases all over the world, and we've got a pile of nuclear weapons if we need to, if push comes to shove. So what's to worry?
Well, all those statements you just made are true, and there's a lot to worry about, nevertheless. In fact, we have to rebuild our military capability. So specifically, I think that means a couple things. One, our people in uniform must be respected. We have men in uniform in Afghanistan today, and parents and volunteer groups are having to send them pillows and blankets and sheets. Really, this is not what this nation is about. When I talk about defending the character as well as the security of our nation, when we let our young men in harm's way have to depend on their parents to send them pillows and sheets and blankets, shame on us. So we must respect those who have served and those who are serving. And that must start at the very top with the Commander-in-Chief. Here's another example of lack of respect. This president says that he is, quote, laying off 40,000 soldiers at a time of incredible danger to this nation. And yet we cannot, he cannot, the executive branch cannot figure out how to fire more than one person when we, in the VA, when we now know that over 300,000 veterans died in the last year before they got access to health care. This is not respect, ladies and gentlemen. We must care for those who have served us. On the subject of the VA, by the way, one of the first things that I will do is pull together a group of about 15 veterans. And I will ask them a fundamental question. How is it you want to be served? Because we need a new blueprint for the VA, and the bureaucrats in Washington cannot figure it out. We need a blueprint. So I'm going to ask veterans, how do you want to be served? Because we need a new vision for what the VA should do and can do and what it shouldn't do and won't do. Specifically with regard to rebuilding the military. Look, we know the answer to this. Our military experts have told us in order to be at the appropriate state of readiness in a very dangerous world where we not only have to be able to deal with at least 2 conflicts at once, but we also have to deal with non-state actors all over the world. We know we need about 50 Army brigades. We know we need about 36 Marine battalions. We know we need somewhere between 300 and 350 battleships. We know we need to invest in all 3 legs of the nuclear triad. We know all this. And because the federal government's principal responsibility is to protect the security of the nation, we have to spend what is necessary to provide for all of that buildup. But it's also true that the Defense Department requires some reform. You know, when I served, advised secretaries of defense, we always talked, and the Defense Department still does, talks about tooth-to-tail ratios. Tooth, fighting men and women, weapons, materiel, technology. In other words, tip of the spear, tooth. Tail, bureaucracy. And over time, the Defense Department has measured tooth-to-tail ratios. Guess what? At this time, the tooth-to-tail ratios are as bad as they have ever been. So we have to invest in tooth, and we have to reform tail. And isn't that the story of bureaucracies all over Washington?
I've got a couple questions direct from the audience that I thought I would pop to you and sort of get your response. And this is an interesting one. It says, how would you confront the propaganda information warfare waged by the 3 powers, Russia, Iran, and China? Specifically, of course, Russia Times, which has become a big media presence here. Also with China, with CCTV. Go to any cable network, get yourself hooked up, and you're going to be watching a lot of Chinese news. Those countries have become very skilled at managing the way in which the public perceives them, the global public perceives them, and of positioning their message to make them appear as strong, as formidable, as much a integral part of the world community as possible. How would you deal with this situation from the standpoint of Chief Executive Office?
So I think there are 2 things. First, this is a classic example of where we have leverage, but we are not using it, and where we ought to demand, in the case of both Russia and China, that they play by the same rules that we do. So, President Xi, here's a deal. Unless you allow our media to participate fully in your market, CCTV doesn't get a license here anymore. I mean, it's pretty basic.
Oh, now we can hear you. Okay, we had a little problem there. We are sorry about that. Thank you all for watching Fox Streaming News Now. We really appreciate it, everybody. We had the monsoon coverage earlier. You could rewatch that in a little bit. I did clip that, so it'll be a separate video for you guys all to watch that. But check out Samia tomorrow at 6:15 in the morning, a special streaming service because of the Pope. A new he's going to have a new event going on, and of course we will bring that to you. Samia will be here at 6:15 for that streaming service. It's been a great evening. I'm glad everyone was so vocal in the chat room once again. Really appreciate that when you are so engaged. But it is almost coming up at 9 o'clock, which means you need to turn to Fox 10 if you are local to get the most comprehensive Valley storm coverage in the area, because we had a lot of it in the East Valley and we showcased that to you earlier today, and now you get to see a full report coming up at 9. So I'm going to send it on over to them. So I want everybody, if you are local, check it out on Fox 10 Phoenix. We really appreciate everybody, and I will wish you all a good night, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.